Hello! I am Omni Knight. And I know you'd probably rather be sleeping in on this Saturday morning. But I'm here today to talk to you about the most important of all things. The All-Knowing One. When you get a Haste rune as the first rune, and it carries you to an easy first blood and your team cheers you on like a hero, they're actually cheering on the All-Knowing One. When you go for a risky rush in mid-game, and the team slips by and sees you, but you still blink out in time with Aegis in hand, well, that's thanks to the All-Knowing One. When you go on a godlike spree as Phantom Assassin, and crit those fools for like 900 damage, well, it's actually the All-Knowing One. May you accept the All-Knowing One in all things you do in Dota. In your play, and in your hearts.
This has been a .p public service announcement.
This is Roland from Defense of the Patients, a Dota 2 podcast. We would like to thank you all for listening to our show, and we hope you're enjoying the content we're creating. This week's Thursday episode will be featuring Amanda Nicole Wong, captain of Vasa V. Please swing by iTunes, give us a funny, positive, helpful, or inspiring comment, and we will read it on the show. Once again, thank you for all your support. This has been a broadcast from .p.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Defense of the Patients, a Dota 2 podcast. I'm your host Sypha, sitting here with co-host Wazoo.
How's it going?
And Roland.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
And we're fresh off of a pretty solid week of playing with... not even
That's
a solid week.
fucking
Of playing with
understatement.
techies.
Yeah, we have techies.
One day, and it's felt like a week.
Yeah.
They're not in every game, so that's okay.
Yeah, that is
At
nice.
least in our experience, they haven't been in every game.
They've been in a little over half, though, it's felt
Yeah,
like.
apparently there's some... Didn't you threw out some number earlier, Cyphus? Like 90s?
No, that was me.
Oh, was it you, Wazoo?
It was like 90% in all pick games or something, but that was a statistic from yesterday.
Yeah.
I feel like we've hit them... I feel like we've had games where we didn't hit them way more frequently than we had games where we did.
That's how it's feeling. And it's also... The games that he is appearing in feel lackluster. Because
Yeah.
he's either on your team and it's a 4v5 scenario where there's a few bombs at a side shop.
And he runs in and suicides and gets a kill. And
Like,
you're like,
I've yet to
"Holy
see
shit."
a really scary techies, is the way I'll put it. I'm not...
Well, he's a hard hero to play, from what I hear. Like, I haven't played him very much. But in Dota 1, I heard that he's like kind of one of those niche heroes, kind of like Meepo in a way, that's good when you know how to utilize him, but if you don't know how to really utilize him well, that he's not that good in a team
Yeah.
comp.
And he seems simple, right? Like a dude that he just has landmines, then he has these mines that slow you, and he can kill himself, and then he has these proximity mines. But playing him, it's weird. Like you have to like anticipate movement. You have to have good micro, as in clicking on an individual bomb or blowing up a patch of bombs. Like, I'm not going to say that techies suck and it ruined the game, because I think they're legitimately hard to play, because I've yet to see good techies, and I've yet to play good techies. I've played one ranked match that we lost horribly because of me, which that was mean that I played techies ranked. I shouldn't have, but I was like, how hard could it be? Landmines, proximity mines, no big deal.
Oh.
And we lost horribly, and people gave me shit, and I just...
Who are you there? No big deal, play the techies. I don't know. You wake up in the morning.
Maybe my Russian calculus teacher.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, they feel pretty easy to counter. I mean,
It's just not played well yet. I bet it will be obnoxious later. Like, I don't think the time
Well,
time
look
is
at
now to
Legion.
worry.
When Legion first came out, like every game,
I wasn't playing when Legion
and you
came out.
get caught in a duel as like Lion and fuck, and sometimes you'd get away and like arrows would just come down on you. And I was pissed when Legion first came out, but it wanes. You know, it seems like interest wanes in heroes.
I think interest is going to increase, and people are going to get better. Like, I'm sure Purge has already played techies 3 or 4 times, or probably played it more than 3 or 4 times before techies even came out.
He was in the test server too.
Yeah, he was probably playing it way before we even knew about it. But I'm sure, like, he knows, like, this is good with techies. Like, this is the basic idea of how to play techies. I've yet to search if there's the video on YouTube or not.
That last team we played against, at least the 3 stack on their team seemed like they were pretty confident in the setup that they had with techies. Because didn't they
they
grabbed Lena, Coddle, and techies all at the same time.
Yeah, and they seemed extremely confident in doing so.
And I think what they were doing there is the Coddle was just constantly throwing any type of mana onto the techies.
Well, and
then the techies was throwing down mines where we weren't going at all.
Yeah, no, I think what their goal was with Coddle with Keeper of the Light was to because remember
it's
that
weird
big
how his
engagement
acronym has a name. I want to just bring that up. That people call him Coddle. Like, it's not even KOTL.
I don't even feel right saying it.
I know.
Actually.
It's like so.
It feels unnatural coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, I just want to note
it's
that
just one of those things.
You do
man.
hear this. It's
Yeah.
Coddle, but it's Keeper of the Light.
Anyway, Keeper of the Light, which is actually how I prefer to reference him.
Yeah.
So he was sitting mid with Lena, and they were just keeping us off. Remember, they were just keeping us at bay. Well, that techies was piling bombs on the tower, and then like fools, we went to go get that last hit on that tower. And why did we do that? Like, of course, that's what was happening the entire time.
Money.
Because it's new. I don't know. Because
because we haven't done it 100 times.
There's really nothing else
happen.
like it in the game other than Templar Assassin psionic traps, which just slow you. You know.
You know, in a way, techies being introduced to the scene is kind of like boot camp, because it's going to make us all buy detection finally. Like, we've had Rickies, we've had these invisible heroes.
Bombs.
It's going to take bombs to make us buy Vision.
It's going to get tough to be a Ricky or a Bounty these
exactly.
days.
Ricky's just, everybody buys Sentry Wards all of a sudden. They just like counter me with that 200 gold item.
At least at our skill level.
I know. Ricky boggles people's minds in our skill level. Like, he's just invisible. And it's like, well, why don't you ward him? And it's like, I did. Well, there's no ward there. He de-warded me. I'm done. Like, I can't do anything.
Yeah,
he killed my
the
ward.
fight.
They win the vision battle.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take
de-ward.
much. It doesn't take much.
No.
That last team, like, I de-warded both of their wards the first go-round because they killed us. They ganked us once. Figured out where they were. Went de-warded them. And they never, they had no vision the rest of that game. And we just stomped them. It was, I don't know, sad.
Yeah. So feelings on techies, mine is I like them. I think it's cool. I think I'm glad I haven't seen really good techies yet. I can't wait until I get stomped with techies.
Yeah.
What about you, Cyphus? What's your feelings on techies?
My feelings are that we should hold off since we're gonna do guess a hard counter later at the bottom of the episode.
That's where you'll express your feelings.
I think we're gonna have more techies talk at the end of the episode.
Yeah.
We'll try to not plague the episode with it, since I'm sure that's what's going on everywhere.
It's in everybody's mind, right?
I'm gonna switch my techies talk with how cool I think the new multi kill banners and also the prediction gem is.
Let's talk a little before we go to the
State of Affairs.
Well, before we do that,
this is a team State of Affairs.
All right. Well, real quick, before we hit State of Affairs, remember, you can always find us at defenseofthepatients.com.
It's in the bag.
On Twitter at @p_show. The website or email is defenseofthepatients@gmail.com, and of course on iTunes.
You will be able to find us on YouTube. We're rendering all the videos, and we're also dealing with a graphic designer at the moment to get everything going.
Oh yeah, we expect. We're gonna have a new logo here pretty shortly. We're excited about it.
Yes, we are.
We realized we don't really have much of a visual presence as much as we do have a online presence in terms of our words and audio. So we're working on getting more of a visual interface or more of a visual image out there. Yeah, and you'll see that coming up pretty soon here with different types of content we'll be providing.
And we've had a ton of requests for it to be on YouTube.
Yes, indeed.
For some people, that's the preferred way to listen. So hey, however you want to do it, we're thrilled.
And we'll put up a nice image for you to look at for that 45 to hour. What?
We'll put up a nice image
We're dealing. It's gonna be a nice
goatsy. Nice image.
All right, State of Affairs.
Jesus.
Let's. I'll start. So I'm sitting just shy or just over 1,500, depending on that last game. I forgot to check right before we walked out.
Teetering.
Yeah, I'm teetering back and forth. I dropped back down to 1,400, and then it dropped below 1,400, and had to trudge my way
You were
back
in the
up.
1,300s again?
I hit 13, like 87 after a really bad 30-point loss in a single game. Really hurt. And then solo queue, I haven't really done anything. And as far as heroes, I guess maybe the biggest development there is, that last game, playing Zeus. I was playing him as a 5. I don't think I'll do that in the future. I think I'll try to support with an Offlane and go hard instead. I don't think he works as a 5.
Sure,
No.
but I would love to hear suggestions if anybody listening feels inclined to suggest a build with Zeus that would fit into a 5 slot. Because there's really not one that I can think of, because everything he does is high damage.
Yeah, I think you're right about. I mean, we were having that discussion kind of after that game, and Roland, I think you are correct. You need to be utilizing that damage, and the only way you're doing that ever as a support is if you're in the 4 role.
He's a utility support. I think if you look
say.
at the definition of a utility support as someone who has like kind of a high impact ult, he's definitely that. He can pick up kills, and so he's kind of designed for pickoffs in a way. I mean, it's burst damage, but he's going to be picking up kills in a way that kind of forces him into a 4 slot anyway, his ult.
I don't know. I could see how you could get a ton of assists because it's...
Yeah. You were using it correctly your first time playing him, which you don't see, honestly, a lot.
You were using it with him, though.
With Nuke in the fight.
But I think the biggest thing about Zeus is a communication aspect that I haven't really played with ever with Zeus. In that Zeus is just a walking dude. This guy's getting away. Zeus, pop it. Yeah. Like Zeus should be like finger on the trigger. I'm gonna ult when it's called out, or when that guy's just gonna get away, and that sucks.
Right.
You know what I mean? Kind of like when
in that sense, he's designed for kills and gold.
But people get eager when they see that light pop up in your ult slot, and
they'll buy back
yeah. Hopefully somebody's low and I hit the jackpot,
And he's good to have for that reason, for that blanket, just in case, you see the limping away PA and you want to...
Yeah, that's going to get away, damn. But... And then it's like, you can just say, hey, Zeus, ult, and, finger on the trigger, motherfucker.
You were
dies
using it
from
well
the sky.
in team fights, though, which was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I felt like the best thing I could be doing there was dishing out overall damage right off the bat.
Yes.
Especially with
It helps a lot.
It felt like there wasn't a lot of communication about targeting any particular hero down on their team, and we were devastating in that last game anyway, so it didn't...
Oh,
well, look at it
was
like
60 to 21 was the last time I checked the scoreboard.
Yeah.
Like right before the game ended. But
look at it like this. Like you open with your ult, and then you arc lightning. You've already dished out a ton of damage there. And then you do your W on someone, or the lightning bolt on someone, and then your passive is giving off the damage as well.
Yeah.
The shock with all of those attacks.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure.
So he's built to be like an AoE nuker, which still kind of puts him in a 4 slot because he's a support. He doesn't need that much farm. So like a utility support 4, definitely.
And on the contrary, the reason why I think people like Zeus mid, which I don't know if this is a fact or not, but I'm guessing Zeus is so popular mid because some pro did it at some point. Because that's usually how things are famous, even in lower level play, as we emulate what the pros do.
Some things become legend, though.
Yeah, so I'm sure some pro did Zeus mid, and it was fucking awesome, and now everybody's like, Zeus is a great mid, and I'm sure I'll get plenty of explanations why Zeus is a great mid.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious,
but
yeah,
and I think, and it is obvious to me as well, that Zeus...
He can zone out heroes really well one-on-one.
Zeus is only as good as his Aghanims and his Refresher's Orb.
Not necessarily.
Refresher orb.
He's a potent nuker at the early and mid stages of the game as well.
But his Ags is going to increase that.
That doesn't mean he's only functional at that level. He's still a functional hero without his Ags.
I'm just saying, if you get to that point with Zeus, your team has won.
Yeah, but it's hard to get to that point as him, man.
I mean, it's like 9,000 gold at least. It's a ton of gold. It's
I don't know.
For an Ag and a Refresher, it's like 9,000.
yeah.
Admittedly, I'm new to Zeus, but I'm not sure. I mean, I'm contemplating not building Ags first and not making a mad dash at Refresher Orb.
I'm completely like spacing what Ags even does. Not even spacing. I'm trying to play that off cool.
Lowers cooldown, increases damage.
I think so. I think that's what it does.
Of his ult.
Looks like the Scepter just increases damage.
Really?
From
No
what to what?
lowered
Like, what's
cooldown.
maximum damage without?
Max damage, fully max is 450. With the scepter, it's 640.
So
Wow,
a considerable increase.
No, that's Scepter, man.
So you can do 1,280 damage with
That's a great
Refresher Orb.
Scepter.
You can do 1,280 damage times 5, assuming all 5 heroes on their team are alive. So you got to figure Zeus does more damage in a single blast than any other hero in the game. With his
That's
ultimate.
under ideal circumstances.
That's under
'Cause it
everybody
doesn't
being
hit,
alive.
It doesn't hit them if they are invis. It will
and
reveal
they're
them on the
all
map.
visible. Yes.
And so you don't know if every hero on the map is visible. You don't know if there's an
It is
invisible.
circumstantial, but it
Yeah.
is possible for Zeus to do like 1,000,
Nuke damage.
5,000 damage basically in one.
Well, 1,200 per. So
Well, in two.
six-
In two.
Yeah,
Because
in
he would
two,
refresh your
but
orb.
1,200 per hero times 5.
Yeah,
6K.
6,000.
That's an estimate, but yeah,
That's
that's a ton of
a
damage.
right estimate. A restimate.
Wazoo, your state of affairs.
Oh Jesus! State of affairs. That's all. Gosh, we're
In my
crawling.
solo, I've dipped below 2K. I'm 1986. It was a good year. I believe some great rock albums, like Hall & Oates came out. Some Hall & Oates albums came out in 1986.
Everybody loves Maneater.
Yeah. And my party, I'm at 25, 26. Been winning a lot of my party, playing a lot
Damn,
more.
bro.
Good communication between us has helped. Playing a lot of carries, playing a lot of mids. Love my Tiny. Love Razor. As always, I think he's really good mid.
Where are you sitting on the tiny record now?
I am currently at 27 and 7.
So long as it's always like 20 N and N, like 29 and 9,
Well, I'm gonna keep.
28 and 8.
I want to hit 30 before I hit 10, hopefully,
Yeah.
and then I want to hit 50 and 10, but we'll see.
Yeah. What we were talking to some. Was that one guy that we played with? That one Dubs. Is his name Dubs Chemo? I think is his name. He said he was like some ridiculous number with Doom, like 57 and 4, which brings me to my state of affairs. I was playing Doom earlier. I was playing Doom with Wazoo.
We lost.
Wazoo, you were playing Faceless Void
Yeah.
in this
no.
game.
Oh, were you playing Faceless in the Doom game?
No.
Well,
Yeah,
Marana.
Marana.
And
I
you
was
were playing Crystal Maiden,
utility support. I was
Cyphus.
playing the
Yeah.
fourth position.
And we were in a commanding position. I was kicking ass. Everybody was doing good, and then we lost. After like
This is
an
the most
hour.
riveting story ever told on this podcast.
We basically, long story short, we lost in the end, and it sucks.
Yeah, a really long story.
We didn't
short.
Yeah.
have any
That was a
push. They had a
55-minute
Shadow
story.
Shaman on their
So
team.
that brings my MMR to like 1,600. I'm like a little above 1,600 party, which is on the up and up. Like I said, invest now.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
risen since we began
invest-
finally. Yeah,
invest
Where
we're
did
on
you
the
now.
guys
up.
start at?
I started at 1,770.
I spent a good chunk of time in the 1200s.
Oh, I lost. Yeah, I have definitely started the best with our like Lich, Faceless Void, Skywrath combo. Got me to like 1,800. And then I started experimenting with new heroes, and I was just like, nope, dude, you just suck at the game. Because Chain Frost is easy to do.
It is.
It's like F click, you know.
I
or
remember
Alt
when
click.
I first got like a triple kill with it. I was like, oh, I'm so good. Now I look at that, I'm like, not really, not
It's
at all.
you don't even control the direction it bounces.
Yeah.
And
If
then
only you could micro the ball.
yeah. Only like a select few Dota players could like do it well, probably.
Yeah.
And then in my solo, I'm 1,500. I pretty much win every fucking game I play. It feels like, and I've been randoming. I randomed Troll Warlord. Really love Troll Warlord. It was the first time I ever played Troll Warlord, and won as Troll Warlord.
Oh, that's
It's
why
fine.
you like him.
Is he
Yeah.
a pretty good offlane?
I played him mid, and his versatility, his Q is a toggle between melee
Yeah.
or ranged, and that's all it does. It doesn't cost mana. You can do it instantaneously. He can do like a little dance if you just press it over and over, because it's him switching animations. And then he has like throw his axe ability that does damage. Then he has an axe spin around him, and then his ult is increased attack speed, and every subsequent hit increases attack speed. Anyway, he's way dope. He also can Roche pretty early. Really enjoyed myself that game. So that
Seems
is
like
my
he'd be
state of
He
affairs.
seems like he'd be a really solid offlaner for that reason.
Yeah, I bet he would. He can do crowd control because that axe spinning move that he can do for 50 mana. And he can do it pretty often. It's a short cooldown. I think maybe 30 seconds.
Well, that's probably a good lead into what we wanted to get into with strategy today, which is the role of the offlaner, or
Sure.
Our take on, I guess, what we are at the moment envisioning offlane to be. I don't know. Does that sound about right to you guys?
Yeah, for the longest time, I didn't conceive that lanes were different at all. It was just getting farm in any lane, and it didn't really matter. But just how they're set up proves that the farm you're there for different priority.
Sure.
Because you want to put the person that wants the most farm in the lane where they're guaranteed the most farm, and therefore that gives lanes priority in farm. The off lane's really hard to get farm on, and so that's why you stick durable heroes who can escape out of situations easy. They're going to get ganked easily because if you look at those stairs right past your tier 1 tower, it's easy for people to sneak up and dive you into your tower. It's easy for them to sneak in on that other side. And
well, that's what innately makes it dangerous, right?
Yeah.
I think the reason why it would be a harder lane.
Let's not forget that you're pushed way further down by the
it's
side
where
shot.
the equilibrium is.
Yeah.
And that was the thing about the Dota 2 map. I remember really early on, probably a couple weeks, a month before we started this podcast, thinking where is the secret shop? And saying over TeamSpeak or chat, where's the secret shop? Yeah. Ping it. Wazoo, ping it. Ping the secret shop.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And it was, and it just didn't make sense. Then all of a sudden you look at the map one day and it's just symmetrical and beautiful, and you see the equilibrium of everything, and you're Russell Crowe in A Beautiful Mind interpreting different levels.
Have you seen The Fountain when Hugh Jackman looks up to the Tree of Life and it's golden and his face is shining? That's what you look like when you...
Oh no! It is a great moment when you, because you start taking into account things like, am I running towards the right amount of high ground? If I can get out of their vision to avoid taking a spell.
The map is a brilliant, beautiful, natural thing.
Cyphus Wazoo, can I have Roland's Corner on this?
Roland's Corner.
So here's what I have to say about this.
Oh, God.
Let's simplify things, okay? We have a map that is a square. The equilibriums are at a diagonal, right? Mm-hmm. If I am playing Radiant, offlane is hard because I have two attack paths, possibly 3 if we consider jungle. The jungle can come in, the top lane can swoop around, and the people can come from river and gank you, as in come behind and kill you.
And how many kills do you get that are first bloods that you wrap in behind someone?
All the time.
Lane. All the time.
All the fucking time.
All the time.
So this is why we call them hard lane. It's a hard lane because there's another path.
You're at a risk.
Another attacker coming toward you.
A bad risk.
And I'm sure if we pulled up Dota or got the standard Deviants guys to do stats on this, I'm sure there are more deaths in offlane than there are in safe lane within the first 10 minutes of a game.
Yeah, that would be a great question to ask them.
Yes,
we do need to
maybe
do that.
we will.
You
ask
think
them.
the offlane heroes are giving up first blood more?
Yes. Oh, hell yeah. And look at just our experience of getting first blood. Where does it usually happen? In our safe lane, but they're hard lane.
But you can't really say, does it happen in offlane more? Because both are offlane. And
you would choose, I'm sure there's some way you can get stats on that. Maybe not.
Here's why this is... So remember our discussion with Phage about the causation versus correlation,
yes.
right? So, and I think his point was kind of that you can't really have a controlled environment to test any of these statistics.
No.
And here's my argument is another potential causation for, if that is the case, could be having the rune, the rune spawn on either side. I'll bet you would see correlation between where first bloods come from that is based more on where the rune pops up as opposed to...
And what the rune is.
Yeah, because if your mid grabs an invisibility rune on bottom, he's going to go bottom, whether that's your safe lane or the enemy's hard lane. You know?
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. You don't want to take all that distance to go from top rune to bottom rune, then to bottom lane.
Yeah, you're not preferential about where you get your first blood. I think it's more about just ease.
At that
path
point
of least
in the
resistance,
game, you're right. If a Pudge gets a invisibility rune comes down to help his off lane, and then it's 3 heroes against 2 in lane. At that point in the game, it's a first blood.
Yeah.
If it's 3 against 2, you do not want to be in a 3v2 situation.
Yeah, not at
that
level
point.
1.
Yeah, not at that point in the game.
No.
You don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to be in a 3v3 position sometimes, depending on what those 3 heroes are. You have an Ogre, Magi, Sand King, Wraith King. That's 3 stuns at level 1 that you could put on a hero to get that first
early game.
Yeah. And so long as they're coordinating with each other.
Yeah.
Which
is something we're doing more often, I think, is not just sitting in Fountain until the horn goes off and like, okay, now we start. Like, we're out there on the map. We're doing things
like ravenous dogs.
Yeah.
I think I've seen a change
Not as
with
much,
you guys. You guys are way more comfortable on the map. Juking and like running around, getting items, getting from point A to point B, and that makes a big difference. It's just being comfortable on the map.
500 games now or something like that.
And I'm just
probably like
shy of
350 actually.
1,000. Just shy of 1,000.
Because my account was used by someone else like 18 months ago. Not me. It was an imposter.
Dota fraud.
It was Dota. Dota 3 flow fraud.
There's another
dude.
PSA, man.
Yeah, another PSA. Hope you guys are enjoying those.
Stop Dota fraud.
I'm enjoying them. I don't care if
Yeah.
you guys are enjoying them.
Yeah, they've been fun to do. Whenever an idea pops
I
out.
care if you're
All
enjoying
right,
them.
I'm getting us back on topic.
Okay.
Offlane. Here's my... All right, that's where all this digressed. And
Sure.
that stats discussion is an interesting one, but more importantly with the offlane, this is what I see it being. When I'm playing, typically it's like Skywrath or a 4-spot support in that when I'm going to the hard lane. I constantly view my role as harassing the carry. Like, that's it. That's all I'm doing, is denying the carry farm and harassing that, getting him out of lane, forcing them back under the tower, spamming, with Skywrath, I'll bring several clarities, and I'll start spamming that Q spell.
With Skywrath? What is the Q spell? I've never played Skywrath. I've never had to, because you've been playing him all the time.
I'm going to look up the range just because it's...
What is it, the slow or is it the damage?
No, it's
the one
not
that
the
chases
slow.
you forever.
The slow is tempting to level, but it uses a ton of mana.
Is it the one that follows you forever, no matter what happens?
Well, they'll both do that. They'll both do it. It's Arcane Bolt is his Q ability. It's a flat 70 mana cost across the board. So when I have it maxed, it's still 70 mana.
So cheap.
Damage is 120, and the cooldown at max level is 2 seconds.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So you can just be popping that off all the fucking time?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't I see Machine Gun Skywrath then?
Because sometimes I got a Mystic Flare, bro. And I'm trying not to steal all your kills later on in the game.
I give Skywrath a pass on stealing my kills. Like,
Yeah.
Because he can get badass, dude.
Yeah,
I've
sure.
seen some badass Skywrath mages carry me, like, on their shoulders and, like, wow, this is a great
But
time.
that
Thanks,
situation
Skywrath mage.
is harder to create than a carrying you. You got to realize. Sure. You'll see Sven carry 9 times out of 10. You'll see Skywrath do it, like, 2 times out of 10.
And truthfully, it's because he's
In
a
the
way
same
higher
way.
MMR. Or
Well,
something
and
like that.
if Skywrath's doing it, then you better be ending it early.
Yeah.
I mean, you better be ending it.
Probably.
You better be ending it before, like, 45 minutes.
Because a blink and a stun, and then, like, 4 hits will still kill Skywrath late game. You know?
But
He's still frail.
as far as
Still
the
squishy.
offlane goes, just to bring us back there again, because I know we get on these tangents because
Well, no, but I mean that's my point about the offlane is just Skywrath is one of those great 4s as far having support up there because that's good for harassing that carry. You want your focus.
is to make it as hard as possible for the hard carry
because
of their team.
I wonder sometimes, do you view it that way, Roland? Because I think you sometimes view it as, a lane where you get to solo farm if you're up there.
This is the way I look at it, and I'm gonna compare it with 2 different heroes. One I played more than the other. If I'm Bristleback off lane, I am going to be aggressive. I'm going to be obnoxious to that carry. If there are 2 people there, if it's a tri-lane safe for them, it's going to be much harder for me, and I'm going to play really defensive. But with Bristleback, I'm going to be going in. I'm going to be building up my quill charges. I'm going to be putting my back to them and running away a lot, making it hard for their carry to get fed properly. If I'm playing Lone Druid, I don't give a fuck what they're doing. I'm getting every last hit. My bear and me are just killing every creep.
Did you hear that they have an Oculus Rift Lone Druid app now?
No, what?
You can control the bear.
Oh.
Our audience
can you imagine?
can't see your
Yeah, we
wonderful
can't see that you're
your
like
wonderful
moving
miming.
an Oculus Rift. Isn't that like the 3D...
the VR thing, the virtual reality thing. Can you imagine you're the bear getting last hits?
No, I can't imagine that.
Pitch that to him, man.
When we get around to it, we'll send out a letter.
But I know what you mean. But I mean, you're not getting as much farm or as easy as farm as the safe lane carry. I mean, I think LD's a better mid for sure because you can get better farm.
Well,
in that solo situation and still
you get better farm because there's not two dudes against you. There's one dude against you, right? Like mid, the meta is obviously that one person goes mid against one other person mid. Like we never would do a 1-2-2, or one person in off lane, 2 in mid, 2 in safe lane. So for that reason, there's only one dude fucking with my last hits, opposed to two dudes fucking with my last hits with Lone Druid. That's the way I look at it. I level the same. I level just as fast. Or do I? I think I actually share experience with the enemies, believe it. Oh no, that's with neutral creep. So no, I would level just as fast in off lane with Lone Druid as I would in mid. Supposing I was doing just as good in either lane.
I do the... Well, yeah. I guess you would.
Yeah. I mean, and it would be giving...
Just one's a harder time.
Yeah. Unless you... Yeah.
One is just harder
your
to do.
argument being it's easier for you to get those last hits mid overall.
Yeah, because there's only one enemy hero against me. There's only one enemy hero that's trying to focus on his own last hits. So I'm focusing on... Okay, I've got a dude who... I mean, it's my regular Lone Druid dude. The guy. Throwing like shurikens. The druid, yes. Who is alone. With a bear.
Yeah. Ironic that character's name is Lone Druid.
He's the last druid. He's the lone druid.
Oh.
Anyway,
the bear's the lone druid.
I have two ways to get last hits. I can judge the bear's last hit, and when you play a lot of lone druid, you know that like your bear is going to do a good chunk of damage, so you can like be more liberal with when you're hitting with your last hit, like where the creep's health is. It's like a nuanced thing,
Oh, so like you're attacking with the ranged attack from the druid and the bear at the same time, so it's like one
or at
full
different
last
times.
hit.
Or at different times.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
So I'm like with Lone Druid,
he throws a potion as his right click.
Okay, so I'm doing my right click, my ranged right click, and when I see it get to that threshold, I attack with the bear. And the bear also has Orb of Venom, so if it's not the last hit, maybe the subsequent Orb of Venom hit is. Anyway, mid it's easier. Only one person's messing with me. Also mid, Lone Druid's W increases his move speed by percentages increasing.
Right. So I'm going to rein you in. I want to talk about Lone Druid just in the off lane.
Okay. Lone Druid in the off lane, why I think he's dope, okay? For the laning phase, the first 10 minutes, when off lane matters the most, possibly, in my opinion, is the first 10 minutes. I am staying way back while my bear is way far ahead of me. Far enough ahead to attack, because when it gets too far, the bear can't attack, which is why Radiance is awesome, because it can attack in a weird way, but we'll talk about that later.
Aura, yeah.
Yeah, just from the aura attack. So I'm staying way back, and I'm monitoring my bear. My bear is an extension of me. It's like the movie Avatar with James Cameron, but less CGI. And that way I have more vision of what's coming. I think I can cover the stairways better, honestly. I think that's why he's generally an off lane. And we've seen Admiral Bulldog. He's a really awesome Lone Druid. He is like the face of Lone Druid, this guy.
Yeah, he really is.
And
very talented.
Where does
he usually takes him off lane, sometimes mid. What he does off lane...
He used to take him off lane. He says he'd rather take him mid now.
Yeah, he stacks Ancients, though, and is really good at that. So he's really good at pushing the lane up, going back, stacking the Ancients in the off lane. Pushing the lane up, going back, stacking the Ancients. And that's easy to do with a bear, right?
Yeah.
You can send your bear back there while you're still getting experience to pull the Ancients. It just takes more, mindfulness than I have and more micro than I have. I think that is another layer to add on to the cake of what is off lane. But then you look at Bristleback and why he's such an awesome off lane. What is Bristleback's main objective? To basically run in a circle, right? Run toward you, quills, quills, quills. Run away from you and I'm taking less damage. Run toward you, quills, quills, quills. Run away from you, I'm taking less damage. great offlane. It's a different type of offlane.
Yeah.
He's durable.
Yeah.
Offlaners need to be durable because they're going to be getting beat up a lot.
Yes. It's two people harassing you, two people harassing one person.
Yeah, I guess, that makes sense. You just kind of have to, I guess you kind of,
Or treant offlane. People mentioned this from our last episode, or maybe the episode before that we talked about treant and...
Tiny and Crystal.
And Crystal, that combo. And somebody commented, treant is my favorite offlane. And, let's break that down. Why? Why is treant so cool offlane? Durability, can heal. He's actually surprisingly easy to get last hits with.
He attacks living armor's global, so it doesn't matter where he is.
And having him get solo experience means he gets faster levels of living armor. And the quicker I can get to living armor 4, the better our team's going to do naturally. Yeah. So the more experience treant soaks up, the better the team is going to be prepared for fights, in my opinion.
But I at the same time, I don't think it's a bad idea to have him laning with someone.
It's not a bad idea, or is a bad idea.
No, it's not. In fact,
it depends on the circumstances.
Well, if you have
it's
the
not
4
like
up there with you,
it's not. Well,
you are the 4 probably in that situation.
Hard 5 usually when I play treant, but I think I play him wrong. I think I should be more aggressive with him. Whereas once again, mindfulness and micromanagement. If I am trying to stay map aware of everybody and where everybody's health is, but that requires me to not be paying attention to my main guy, treant protector, all the time.
That's where you have the invis skills, though.
Yes, that's why you do the Q.
Yeah.
Which you get 1 level of that generally, and I just go Q. And I've gotten quick. I've set spacebar to double.
For anyone listening that doesn't know, it lets you blend in and become invisible when you're by trees.
If you walk away from trees, it'll break, and it still has a countdown. It's still like you can only be invisible for X amount of time at level 1, and then at level 4, it's like so long it doesn't matter.
But you can do that, do your microing duties, and then go back to.
Why he's a good offlane is for a different reason. I think the offlane suits unique heroes, is what I think.
Yeah. Bat Rider, Tree. You're right.
Really cool, unique heroes.
You're right. I never thought about it that way.
Which is why I've made the argument that I think techies will inevitably wind up there.
And I think he
should be. He's a good offlane, but he's a good counter pusher as well with those mines. He's a really talented counter pusher.
But I think you'd want him up there with a 4.
I think you could have him up there alone, and this is also why I think it'd be cool with a Crystal Maiden or buy a shitload of clarity with techies from the start. Just kind of like how you were talking Zeus and we were saying buy a lot of clarity from the start.
Yeah.
But with techies, that landmine is such an awesome ability to get last hits. Give techies offlane, get him to the point where he has his ult and max landmines. You can put him offlane. He can also handle it because he can cover the places he could get ganked by landmines. You know what I mean? And protect himself that way.
As well.
He can have 20 out at a time, which I think will be, in my opinion, I don't read up on any news or what pros think or anything like that. I don't do enough of it. I think it'll get nerfed. I don't think they'll allow 20 on the map before it gets to captain's mode. Can you imagine pros having in their
20 locations mined?
20 locations with mines,
or 20 at the
same time. It'd be ridiculous, dude.
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous.
Well, and he can activate them when he's dead as well. You realize
landmines activate when something walks over it. He can't activate landmines.
Oh no,
his ult are the barrels that he can activate. Those are a timer. He can have unlimited, but he can't have unlimited. As in,
those are on a timer.
If he keeps doing it, they're on a timer, and they'll eventually run out. But he can detonate them all, like I was saying, or he can detonate them individually, which I found it's better probably to detonate them individually as the heroes get closer to them. You don't just want to place 4 of them, they're 200 mana each, and then just blow everything up. But the other thing about the barrels and why techies would be awesome in offlane is those barrels grant vision as well. Those barrels, you have vision with them wherever you plant them. So it's kind of like in StarCraft 2, maybe none of you will get this. Burrowed banelings, they explode when things walk over it. Same thing with the techies, in a way.
All right, so since we've had all this techies talk, and I don't think we're going to get much to the heart of this strategy talk.
I think we did get to a good bit of what is the offlane, why do we use it. Of course, we can't quantify this for you. We're too new, and also
to quantify
it's too short of an episode.
I will tell you. I will tell you. Like in a sentence, they are unique, durable, harassing heroes that can obtain experience in a sometimes 1v2, sometimes 2v2 situation efficiently and still coast into the game and have a game impact. Batrider's a good example as a really competent offlane because he can sit there, he can tar up his enemies so they have slow turn rate and they slow down, and he can just keep soaking in that experience, and he can keep lassoing when he needs to.
Well, yeah.
So, but what would you tell? I mean, what would you tell a new player who
about offlane?
Yeah, I mean, what would you tell them what would you tell them they need to do when they're in offlane?
If
Gain
it was
experience
a new player,
and gold.
I would
against
say
the odds.
Play whatever hero you want first and foremost. I would say if you like sniper, or if you like drow, or if you like any of these, play them, because guess what? It's going to be a more punishing when you play those over and over and over and you get shitty results because they're not always going to work. Do that, experiment, and then watch that hero do really well in some certain lane and try and emulate. It's constantly what Dota 2 is. I've been emulating and drawing conclusions. That's all it's been. And with offlane, we're only drawing a few conclusions. Like if we were to have a pro on the show and say, why do we have offlaners and what is their goal and objective? I'm sure they could name off 100 reasons why, because there's a lot of thought that goes into positions in this game. With us, it's basically how unique it is because
it's farm priority.
And farm priority, giving two heroes a single lane. So maybe it's level dependent heroes need an offlane. So if you have two level dependent heroes, you want to go mid and
I actually
offlane.
I hate when you describe it that way because I feel like every hero is level dependent.
Some more so than others. I'm just comparing.
No, but I mean that's so tough to decide. Like
Mirana, this
I don't
is a
think
great
it is.
example.
I don't
Great
think it
example.
is.
I was looking at the level deficit, and we lost this game, so maybe this isn't the best example.
The Doom
but my
game.
Mirana was like 9, and you guys were, or my Mirana was 4, and you guys were like 9 and 10.
When I was 18, you were 9. When I was level 18,
and
you were
so
level 9.
I was still like at times landing arrows that were changing team fights when we were winning, but like we overall lost that game. But some heroes can have better impact at low levels, even when their team's higher levels, than other heroes. So level dependent means that hero's not going to have as much impact without the levels. You know what I mean?
This is absolutely a perfect segue. Later this week, we are going to have the first panda from Vasa V, is the way I'm going to pronounce it. Their team, Vasa V.
It's the all women's Dota 2 semi-pro team, I believe.
Yes,
so.
She is the captain, I believe, and she plays a shitload of Mirana. I'm looking at DotaBuff.com.
How do you quantify that? What is one shitload? What does that translate?
A shitload is roughly 316 matches with a 55.7% win rate.
That's just on Dat Dota, so she's probably
This is on DotaBuff.
Oh,
I don't
DotaBuff.
know the difference. She plays a lot of Mirana. I have had the privilege of playing Mirana with her, or her playing Mirana while I'm playing Ogre Magi or something.
You made it sound like she had the mouse and you had the keyboard.
No. She's an exceptional Mirana, an exceptional player. It'll be fun to have her on and talk some Dota.
Cool.
For the first time, we're actually going to have a guest that plays the game professionally, or semi-professionally, or amateur level, or
she's but you were saying she was just dominating.
She's
every
good.
Every
well,
game.
I was playing with all of them were dominating.
Yeah.
Mad
But
arrows.
She was, some incredible arrows, and even when she'd hit them, she's hit so many by this point. I'm sure she just doesn't even care. I'd be like, dude, that was fucking rad. Oh, I could.
You're like leaping through the woods,
and
on
she's
your
just all
tiger.
They're too modest. They're all too modest about how they play. Like I'm like always there, like, dude, that's fucking great, good job. And
Modesty
like, I
is
do
the
this
way
all the time.
to enlightenment, man.
Yeah, so
I hear.
She's modest when she hits those like max stun, max damage arrows.
It's long.
Yeah.
Like you see, like it goes from like the day cycle to like all the way the night cycle.
And
No,
the
like,
arrows still.
yeah, like still stunned.
So it's gonna be fun. We'll play some games and talk
for sure.
some actual in the game Dota and
Yeah.
what's it like to be a captain of a team.
Yeah, and just find out what. But I think that'll be an awesome opportunity for us to talk about the role of the captain on the team as well.
Sure.
Competition.
Sure.
Captain's draft.
Yeah, competition.
Or captain's mode, rather.
Where I sign up, I look good in drag, so I could join a women's league.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, you might pass with the right wig.
Yeah, with the right wig.
Not the
right wig.
MMR though.
No,
They'll be like,
No,
I'd have
they'll
to
look
get
at the
better.
MMR.
we don't
Fine.
care, dude. But
Sorry, Rolanda, but there's no
Rolanda.
spot on the team for you.
1400 MMR. Sorry.
No, I'm almost 1600.
Okay.
Or I am 1600.
Let's play Guess a Hard Counter.
Okay.
This week's edition, Techies. It had to happen, right? We had to do this.
Yeah, it feels kind of cheap still.
Yeah,
It still feels kind of cheap.
but we had
to do it.
We had to do it. And there's no. So here's how we're gonna play this week's Guess a Hard Counter, and that is Dota Edge, where we Defense of the All Pick, where we typically go to arbitrate our game here.
To say who's right and who's wrong.
Yeah, that's where we decide who, the men.
Arbitrate
The
our
men are
petty
made.
discussions.
And the biggest, if you're gonna, I mean, I've won the most times. Roland.
Sure. I don't think. I think I'm almost even with you.
Wow.
But with a checkered past. So this week we're gonna all posit a guess at a good hard counter to the techies, and then you guys send us tweets. Let us know who you agree with, who you disagree with. Let us know who is working for you. Because I have a feeling we're all going to see a lot of techies.
And be specific in that 140 characters, please.
Yeah.
Like, be way more specific in that 140 characters.
So, Roland, let's start with you, because you were saying you already had somebody in mind.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, this episode, we were focusing a little bit on the offlane. Lone Druid. I mean, a great offlaner and great against techies, and this is why. And I'm going to give a plug to a player, or a listener, MYS, and also a player. He has an extremely high MMR. He's on my friends list, and I feel privileged with how high his MMR is. He thought maybe being more specific with our worst ways to die, or guess a hard counter, excuse me, would be better, and I completely agree with him, so we're going to do it. Lone Druid.
What do you mean more specific?
More specific is, we've been guess a hard counter to Ricky. We think it's this guy. The end.
And then we look at the score, and that's it.
And that's it. Explain why we think.
An ability that counters it.
I feel like we've tried to do that, but what he specifically wanted us to do, and I'm down to toss this in, is which specific ability on that hero are you utilizing to counter this character, and not just like an overall strategy kind of, which I think we were doing kind of just an overall sort of a thing.
And I think that's basically the point he was getting across. But with Lone Druid, it's going to be his Q, which is Summon Bear, which gives you your bear. And the reason it's great against techies is if you don't have vision like me, usually, what's a great way to clear the path so you know there's no danger ahead? A bear that can die and you can respawn. Or a bear that can tank a lot of damage. So I think, and he's also great for running up on techies. If techies is going to try and landmine himself or self-detonate, he's going to kill himself to kill my bear? Worth it.
But you don't really buy sentry wards in that situation?
Sure. I mean, yeah, I would rather use sentry wards than have my bear.
Can you put down sentries from your bear? Can your bear, put them down?
I don't know. I have no idea.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. I have no idea.
Just like he reaches into his bear pocket.
We could turn your bear into one of those
terrible
chipmunks that they release out into the minefields to clear the mines.
I'm just saying, he just has like a bear medic satchel out in the minefields, like looking for mines. Like, that's pretty dope.
He has a shitload of health. I mean, he starts out with 1,000+, I think, or 1,000 or something. So he can tank a lot of early techies hits, and also I can, don't go that way. Let my bear check it. Like,
how frustrating would that be? To set up like this huge mine trap and be like,
and somebody's bear runs into it.
Clarities and all my starting gold to get here.
Exactly.
And a bear just lopes in and like takes all the damage
and it
buys
dies.
some boots and runs out.
And worst case scenario, I wait 2 minutes, which 2 minutes sounds like a long time, but in game it goes by pretty quick. And it sucks to not have a bear for 2 minutes, but you're still gaining experience. Then I just summon a new one. But techies does get gold for it, which sucks. They get 300 gold for killing my bear, so that's not worth it. But it's better than them killing a hero.
Yeah, the 300 gold is
that's
tough
big,
though. Tough to take.
That's like a hero, man.
It is like a hero, but it's not a differential because the bear isn't losing gold, and I'm not losing gold.
Yeah,
right.
So,
but it's still 300 gold in the other team's
It's
direction.
less impactful than a hero
You're
dying.
potentially
and I know
losing
you guys
last hits,
are
so
saying
yes, you are potentially losing gold.
You're saying when I die, I only lose 264 gold. The bear is even worse. No, you lose 264 gold, or you lose however much unreliable gold you have, which in some cases can be a lot or a little, but it's always some, I'm going to say. And on average, let's say it's 60 or plus at least.
The only reliable gold you
It's
ever
gonna
get
be
is
more
from
impactful.
towers, heroes, or couriers.
Yeah. You're losing, they're gaining, opposed to they're gaining when they kill the bear. We're not losing anything except a bear, I
Right.
guess.
Well, but I mean,
But
I'm
gold-wise, we're
I'm
not
still
losing
calling that a win for Techies if Techies is picking up 300 gold.
It depends. It's not going to... Okay, my bear has a lot of health. So he's not necessarily going to die. And I'm not going to send him in looking for mines if he's at low health. I'll send him back to Fountain. And the bear
he can
teleports to
resummon,
me.
by the way. So
Yeah.
he can get him up, harassed, go get him detonated, and then resummon when the timer's up. And then it's just a full health bear again.
And I think if I'm
pretty
fast
good.
enough, I can pull my bear back after I detonate the mine without it doing any damage. Because the bear teleports instantly. When I press, it teleports instantly back to Lone Druid.
Oh, yeah.
So I think if you were skilled enough, and say you saw this in pro play, Admiral Bulldog would have the foresight to know an area was mined, trip it with the bear, but before it exploded, teleport it back to his Lone
I
Druid.
want to see some evidence that can occur.
That'd be awesome.
What,
I'm sure.
Dota 2 Labs? I think I mentioned them before.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I
they're
don't know if they listen to our show or not.
Plug
Maybe.
'em.
Let's tweet them. Ask them if they'll
Yeah,
test it for us.
I would love to see a test on that. I would love to see if that
It's a new
works or not.
test.
Mm-hmm.
What do you talk? Oh,
If
okay.
the bear can trigger a landmine
No, I know.
and blink away
I
before
was
it
just
gets
wondering
damaged.
what we were doing, and then I remembered hard counter to Techies.
You already
Yeah,
forgot
guess the
what
hard
we're
counter
doing.
to Techies. I was
Void,
starting.
definitely Void, because we played him earlier, and that Time Bash is not Techie's friend. He's squishy, sure, but if you feel like he's going to get away, if you don't get the right proc, you can always just chrono him, and it's a guaranteed kill.
And he can't suicide.
And he cannot suicide in his chrono. So
if you kill him while the
Oh, okay.
which that was awesome.
Yeah.
Wazoo did that earlier where it totally justified the Chronosphere in my opinion because the Techies was about to fucking kill everybody basically, and he just threw up the Chrono.
just diffuse the
Oh,
situation.
you're frozen, Techies. You can't do shit, and just
Yeah.
killed him because he's a
Just had to-
squishy mother.
Yeah. I'm going to say Void's a decent counter,
Bomber.
not only because of the Chronosphere, his ultimate, but because his time lock is something that is not good for Techies. He's going to go and put down a mine, and then he gets stunned. And then he goes to put it down, and he gets stunned. You know, his moves
Yeah.
take time.
It's true.
So all right, I'm gonna do my pick based off of just our previous play is gonna be Skywrath. So Skywrath's E ability is a silence, but it also amplifies the amount of magic damage that you take.
Okay.
By the time you hit level 6 with Skywrath, that silence combined with one of those arcane bolts and that mystic flare, he's out. I mean, it's not Techies is and can't suicide.
Have
even
you
though
had
he sees it coming.
personal experience with this?
Yes.
It sounds like it.
Yeah. And there was nothing, literally nothing he could do. Without that silence lasts long enough and amplifies the damage enough that you're able to take him down pretty swiftly. And that anyway, the length of the silence in particular, whenever you get that maxed out, suicide becomes a non-issue in team fights down the road.
Suicide's kind of a non-issue with Techies if you have a ranged hero exactly like Skywrath Mage.
Yeah.
Whereas range is huge, and hopefully Techies never gets close enough to touch Skywrath.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Skywrath should always be keeping his distance from a walking
So many
explosion.
times in that game where that was probably my best Skywrath game in a long time.
So how are we going to decide who wins?
Well, we're going to have the folks write in and tell us who.
We could just vote here because I vote for me.
That's,
And then
that's
all
the
I need,
problem with-
all I need is your vote,
I
Cyphus.
vote for me, though.
Cyphus, you go ahead and vote for me.
No.
And we'll just say Lone Druid is a great
No, because I
counter
think
to
Lone
Techies.
Druid is gonna just feed a ton of gold to Techies. In fact, I'm more convinced now than ever before the Lone Druid is a bad counter.
We will let.
That's what you convinced me of with your.
We will
with
let
your
our
pick.
listeners decide. And please tweet me at @.p_Roland and let me know how wonderful Lone Druid is of a pick against Techies.
Don't
And how
tease it.
wrong
Let's not
Cyphus
forget
is.
the root. If
How
the bear
wrong
gets a
Cyphus
root,
is.
it's gonna bind techies in place.
And I'll give you a new bear. I'll give you a new bear, the one that flames Cyphus the most.
Wow.
On
encouraging
his,
internet flaming.
Yes.
Gets a new low,
gets a
sir.
bear.
Flame on.
Gets a lone druid bear.
Fridge Master wins.
Yeah, Fridge Master probably is already writing it. He's found some way to hack, even though we don't record live.
Sitting there in chainmail.
He's Quebecois.
We're probably gonna have him
Fridge Master.
We're gonna coming up. We're gonna start having some Ask a Deviant segments where we're gonna ask some stats questions from the guys at Standard Deviant. But we'll probably get Fridge Master. Well, maybe we'll see if he's he was
fun to play with. It wasn't fun to lane against him, but it was fun to play with in that.
Yeah,
because
you're a noob death prophet, man.
Yep. I am. I
But we never said you
my
were
coach was
else.
so encouraging too. He's like, it's all right. It's quite all right. And he had this English accent, and it was like a nice English accent where it's like, it's all right. And he's like, you're just not hitting it the way you should. Is all. And it's like, exactly,
He's just politely telling you
how
you're
bad
not
I
good.
was. Yeah, exactly.
You're not good. But that's okay that you're not good.
But it was all right.
I've seen many people do it this terribly before, and you're just locked along with them, just doing terribly bad.
Well,
yeah, this is going to be it for us.
Yeah.
If you want to hit us up, we're on Twitter at @p_show. Our email is defenseofthepatients@gmail.com. Website's defenseofthepatients.com. And of course, you can always find us on iTunes. Swing by and give us a positive or funny review. We'd like to read the best ones on the show. Let's see. Next week, Amanda Nicole Wong, the first panda, is going to be joining us. Captain of Vasavi.
Yes.
On Thursday, not next week.
Yeah, sorry, on Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah, later this week.
Later this week.
Because we're pretending we're recording this 3 hours before.
It's our secret.
It's really February of 2012.
Yeah, we got really into
It's
Dota.
like that one Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. When
there's Recall or something?
multiple Arnolds. It's like, which one is the right one?
That was good.
All right.
Get down, helicopter!
That's so
the
bad.
Worst Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I'm Arnold, but you're Arnold.
No more.
You know what?
No more.
You know what? Thank you.
Yeah, thank all of you for listening.
Oh, wait, my plugs too. Wazoos. I am on Twitter.p_wazoo. Tweet me up, man. I like talking to all y'all. So, talk to me about anything. And thanks for tuning in.
This is what we get for doing a late night show. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Farewell.
You're just not hitting it the way you should.